the keeper of Luminous Vale. Far beyond the realms of mortals, hidden amidst ethereal mountains and untrodden forests, lay a land untouched by time. Luminous Vale. This magical world was illuminated by an eternal, radiant glow that seemed to emanate from the very air. But the true source of its light was the magnificent crystal tree, an ancient and towering marvel that stretched high into the heavens. Its crystalline branches glimmered with hues of gold, silver, and white, sending rippling light across the vale, bathing everything in serenity. The vale was home to a host of magical beings, chief among them the light sprites, tiny creatures resembling floating fireflies. They lived in joyous harmony, singing in delicate, chiming voices. But their protector and the heart of Luminous Vale was Elowin, a fairy whose beauty and power were unmatched. Her wings shimmered like threads of moonlight, and her eyes reflected the endless stars above. She was the guardian of the crystal tree, entrusted with its care and the preservation of the light that sustained the vale. Though Luminous Vale radiated perfection, all was not as tranquil as it seemed. An ancient truth lingered at the edges of memory, one the sprites had forgotten, and Elowin had never learned. For beneath the resplendence of Luminous Vale lay secrets waiting to be uncovered, and shadows yearning to be seen. The flicker of shadows. One evening, as twilight deepened and the crystal tree dimmed into its softer night glow, Elowin noticed something strange. Hovering at the farthest edge of the vale was a shadow, a patch of darkness where no shadow should exist. The vale, untouched by night, had never seen such an anomaly. Elowin furrowed her brow and flew closer to investigate. The shadow seemed alive, slinking between the silvery trees, unsettling the delicate harmony of the vale. The sprites, usually cheerful and curious, clustered nervously behind Elowin, their light dimmed by unease. "Stay here," she commanded, her voice calm yet firm. "I will find what disturbs our peace." With a soft flutter of her wings, she ventured into the heart of the shadow, her silver hair trailing behind her like a comet's tail. As she drew nearer, the air grew heavier, the glow of the vale dimmer. It was as if the very essence of light was being siphoned away. Deeper she went, following the faint pulse of the shadow, until she arrived at a place she had never seen before, a darkened glade hidden at the farthest edge of her realm. In the center of the glade was a gnarled ancient tree, its roots twisted and blackened as though scorched by fire. Embedded in its base was a door, unlike anything Elowin had ever encountered. It was crafted from obsidian, smooth and cold, and etched with runes that pulsed faintly in the dark. "What magic is this?" she whispered to herself. Her hand hesitated over the runes, but as her fingers brushed their surface, the door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. The descent into darkness. The air beyond the door was thick, almost suffocating, but Elowin's resolve did not waver. Summoning an orb of light to hover above her palm, she stepped onto the staircase and began her descent. The deeper she went, the more the vale's glow seemed to fade behind her, until she was engulfed in near-total darkness. The staircase ended in a vast cavern that seemed to hum with an ancient energy. Its walls shimmered faintly with veins of black crystal, their surfaces reflecting fragments of her light. Pools of liquid brilliance dotted the floor, glowing softly like fragments of fallen stars. Yet amidst this eerie beauty stood a figure cloaked in shadow. "Who disturbs my sanctuary?" the figure growled, its voice deep and resonant, echoing off the cavern walls. Elowin lifted her light higher, illuminating the figure. It was a man, tall and gaunt, his features sharp and otherworldly. His silver eyes gleamed like shards of moonlight, and his cloak of living shadow seemed to shift and ripple around him. "I am Elowin, guardian of the crystal tree and protector of Luminous Vale," she said, her voice steady though her heart raced. "Who are you, and why do you cast your shadow over my realm?" The figure stepped closer, and the darkness around him deepened. "I am Kale, the keeper of shadows. Long ago I was a protector like you, but the world in its fear banished me, sealing me away in this abyss." Elowin narrowed her eyes. "Why would they banish a protector? What danger do you pose?" Kale's laugh was bitter, tinged with a sorrow that made even the shadows seem to weep. They feared what they did not understand. They worshipped the light and saw my power as its enemy. But they were fools. Light and shadow are bound together. One cannot exist without the other. The battle of light and shadow. Elowen's heart ached at Kale's words, but she could not ignore the threat he posed. If your power disrupts the balance of the Vale, I must stop you. Kale's expression hardened. Balance? The Vale has known only light for centuries, but no light can burn forever without shadow to temper it. You are blind to the truth, Fairy. But if you insist on opposing me, so be it. With a wave of his hand, Kale summoned a surge of shadows that swept across the cavern like a tidal wave. Elowen's wings flared, and she unleashed a burst of radiant light, driving the darkness back. Their powers collided in a dazzling explosion, illuminating the cavern with flashes of brilliance and consuming blackness. Kale's shadows were relentless, swirling and shifting like living creatures, but Elowen's light was steady and unwavering. Yet as the battle raged, something unexpected began to happen. Where light and shadow met, they did not destroy each other. Instead, they blended into a soft, silvery glow, neither blinding nor dark. Elowen paused, lowering her hands. "Stop!" she cried. "Look at what we're creating." Kale hesitated, his shadows faltering. The space between them shimmered with a light that was neither hers nor his, a harmonious blend of their powers. "What is this?" Kale murmured, his voice filled with wonder. "It is balance," Elowen said softly. "You were right, light and shadow are not enemies, they are two halves of the same whole. The restoration of balance." Moved by Elowen's words, Kale withdrew his shadows. Together they left the cavern and returned to the surface, where the crystal tree stood tall against the night sky. The light sprites flitted nervously at the sight of Kale, their tiny forms dimmed by fear. Elowen raised her hands. "Do not fear him," she called. "Kale is not our enemy. He is part of the balance we have forgotten." Kale approached the crystal tree, his gaze filled with awe. "For centuries I have been alone, cast aside, but perhaps now there is a place for me once more." As he touched the tree, its light shimmered and shifted. Veins of shadow light coursed through its branches, enriching its glow with hues of deep silver and soft gray. The Vale transformed before their eyes, its beauty more profound than ever, a perfect harmony of light and shadow. A new era from that day forward, Elowen and Kale ruled Luminous Vale together. The sprites, once wary of the dark, came to embrace the silvery glow of shadow light, finding comfort in its gentle balance. The crystal tree thrived, its light no longer fading faltering, but burning brighter and steadier than ever before. Elowen often spoke of the lesson she had learned. True light is not the absence of darkness, but its harmonious counterpart. Together, they create something greater than either alone. The tale of the Fairy of Luminous Vale and the Keeper of Shadows became a legend passed down through generations of magical beings. And in the heart of the Vale, under the eternal glow of the crystal tree, light and shadow danced as one, a testament to the power of balance and unity. In their union, the world found a new kind of peace, and the Vale flourished, a beacon of hope and harmony for all who beheld it.